Hi, this is Dave Ford, President and Founder of the Atlantic Gold and Silver Centre. Today is Friday the 17th of February 2017, and today we're going to have a look at some of the ways you can spot the genuine article when it comes to looking at Royal Canadian Mint gold and silver coins and bars. Okay, the reason we're doing this video is we've seen an increasing number of fakes cropping up over the last year. When we started dealing in gold and silver in this region, there wasn't a lot around. There were some fakes coming in from China to the west coast of Canada. Some of them made it over this way, but recently we've started seeing more coming through. In the last year we have seen fake gold bars for the Royal Canadian Mint come in. We've also seen a large number of fake gold maples show up, and some have come through from other dealers in the region who either didn't spot them or knew they were bad but still forwarded them on anyway. So first of all, we're going to have a look at some of the tools that we use to identify fakes and make sure that we only bring in the genuine articles. Okay, so what we have laid out in front of us here is just some of the testing equipment we use when we're looking at gold and silver that comes through the door. We do a whole variety of different tests just to try and make sure it's genuine. We also have some other equipment on the way that I haven't got pictured here. Alright, so let's just go through the basics. Number one, if you haven't got a scale, then you've no idea whether your ounce is really an ounce. Number two, your measuring equipment. Is it the correct diameter? If it's not the correct diameter, it's not real. Number three, a loupe. You can look for all the fine details, particularly that the Royal Canadian Mint are now putting on all their products. Number four, a rare earth magnet. Is it just a fake coin that's been plated? Even most fakes today won't stick to a magnet, just like gold and silver. Gold and silver shouldn't stick to a magnet, but silver in particular does have paramagnetic properties, and you can use a magnet to run over a silver bar, for example, and you get some resistance. Number five, this is an electronic jewelry tester. We don't use it so much for coins and bars, but we do use it for jewelry. Number six, this is an ultrasonic tester. This sends a sound wave through larger bars, and it detects the speed of sound in that bar, and it will tell us whether the bar is solid, whether it's pure gold or pure silver or some other metal. This one here is a machine from the Royal Canadian Mint, and it's used for placing coins in here, and they will analyse the tiny little etched maples that come on the new Royal Canadian Mint gold maples and silver maples. Okay, so if you were buying gold or silver coins privately, you probably wouldn't have all of this equipment available. However, there is some stuff here that I would consider an absolute essential, and without these essentials you really shouldn't be buying anything from anybody except from reputable dealers. So I'm going to take away all the equipment that I'll consider less essential. Unfortunately, the stuff that I consider as essential is probably the cheapest stuff here. So we're going to remove the Royal Canadian Mint tester. We're going to remove the ultrasonic tester. We're going to remove the jewelry tester because we're just talking about coins and bars. We're going to remove the thickness gauge we use for testing the thickness of bars. And we're left with just a few things here. Scale is very, very important. First thing we do when we get a gold coin or a larger silver coin in is we'll just pop it on the scale. Is it exactly an ounce or 2 ounces or 5 ounces or whatever it's supposed to be? If it's not, it's no good. Rare earth magnet. You can pick these up in Princess Auto or Canadian Tire very cheaply, and you just wave them over the coin or the bar. Silver should not stick, but it does have a slight magnetic property to it. A simple pair of calipers. Again, you can pick these up in Canadian Tire relatively cheaply. It's very, very easy to measure the thickness of a coin. The only thing you have to watch out for is sometimes the rim of the coin is thicker than the actual centre of the coin, so you have to make a small allowance for that. And last but not least is the humble jeweller's loupe. Without this, you really shouldn't be buying anything, because this will show up almost anything that's wrong with a coin or a bar that you would likely find. Okay, so if you're not buying from a reputable dealer, if you're buying some gold from an individual or from someone on Kijiji or even at a coin show, we would recommend that at the very, very minimum you make sure you have a set of scales, a jeweler's loop to look at the detail on the coins, and a magnet. Without these three things, you should not be buying from individuals at all. You really need to know what you're looking for. We have seen people waste thousands of dollars by buying a few gold coins that turned out to be completely fake. So I really don't want to have to give anybody else any bad news. I would like to make sure that as many people as possible know what to look for when they're buying, and if they're not sure, always buy from a reputable dealer such as ourselves. Now, we've had a look at the tools. Let's have a look real close up at some of the Royal Canadian Mint products so you can see the kind of things that we look for. Now, we're not going to be looking at any fakes. What we're really going to be showing you is the genuine article in great detail. And when you see the genuine article in great detail, the fakes stand out pretty easily. We're not even going to bother weighing them. That's a pretty simple test. We're not going to bother with the magnets or the electronic testers. We're just going to look at them because of all the fakes we have seen, you can actually tell just by eye that they're not as good as the genuine article. Have a look at this. Okay, we're looking at a close-up of a gold maple, and I'm going to show you one of the things that we've always watched out for on Royal Canadian Mint products, which counterfeits never have. And I'm just going to turn the gold maple very slightly to the side and you'll see what I'm trying to show you. If you look in the background, you can see very, very fine lines going from top to bottom. Now it looks a bit like a wood grain effect, but what that's actually caused by is the gold sheets that the Royal Canadian Mint use coming through the rollers to press them to a certain thickness. Now no fakes have that kind of effect on it. Any fake which is electroplated will have a completely flat mirror-like finish. It doesn't have that fine grain north to south texture. You often need a loupe, a small magnifying glass, in order to see that. This is one of the slightly later gold maples because it has our very small etched maple leaf on there, and the latest gold maples, I'll swap this out, you can't see that anymore unfortunately. They've gone for the radial lines, both sides. There we go. The gold maples have radial lines, that's like spokes of a bicycle wheel. They're coming out from the middle and it gives this very unique effect when you turn it in a light source. I don't know how well you can see the radial lines that are actually on that. Yes, you can see those okay. But again, you have a small etched gold maple there, sorry, a small etched maple leaf there, and the year that's inside the leaf there should match with the year that's marked on the other side here. Looking at some other products, you'll see that Silver Maples 2, it's a slightly earlier silver maple, again has that same vertical lining going up and down on the coin. The later silver maples, they remove that and they put the radial lines on again, which you can see circling around when you twist it in the light. The older gold bars has the same effect, you can see it quite clearly on that, the vertical lines in the background. And even the newer, this is a 10 ounce Royal Canadian Mint silver bar, you can see very clearly the lines in the background going up and down on there. On the bars, the backs always have the Royal Canadian Mint logo. The one that's in the middle is always shiny, whereas the rest are all matte. And that's through on the 10 ounce bar and on the gold bar. You can see the one in the middle is shiny finish and the ones all around it are a matte finish. Okay, so looking at one of the new style gold bars that come in these packages, you can see very clearly these are vertical lines that are now actually stamped onto the bar. Again, they have the two little maple leaves on the bottom. Any fake bars we have seen, you do not get very clear stamping. The stamping on your bars should be perfect. You should not be able to tell any misstamps or mistakes on something like a Royal Canadian Mint gold bar, whether it's the front or the back. Again, we have I'm not sure if you can see that, yes. The one in the middle is shiny and the ones around are on a matte finish, but the printing should be perfect. If you see a bar that looks like it's slightly misstamped, or the depth of the stamps varies, then you should reject it. Okay, I hope that's been some help to you. If you do feel that any of your items are suspect after watching this video, feel free to bring them in to us. We'll examine them for free and tell you what we think of them. It's always a good idea, if you do find that something's fake and you know where you got it from, to file a police report, because these things do get monitored and checked, and we can then weed out some of the bad apples who may be trying to sell fakes and discouraging people from buying precious metals. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in a few weeks.